they've also raised funds to fund or fuel growth. We have with us Anjan Chatterjee, who's the chairman and MD of the company, joining in. Thanks a lot, Mr. Chatterjee, for joining in, and wish you a very happy new year. Speaking about the new year itself, could you tell us how December was for you, New Year's Eve, how the third quarter as a result was for you? I mean, if you could give us some details as to how much better it was versus pre-pandemic, how much better it was versus the festive season quarter.
Pre-pandemic versus now, in fact, in terms of bottom lines, obviously things have completely changed. Over a period of a few quarters, you've seen that because we shut our non-profitable restaurants, then put in a hybrid model of cloud versus our own standalone restaurants. So that's been going on, and we put in an embargo at that point of time for any expansion. So I think there's definitely a growth, not just in terms of turnover or the top line. The growth is concentrated and worked towards a profitability.
Quantify,
we've gone through bad patches. And,
Would you be able to quantify the kind of growth that you saw on the top line in the third quarter? I mean, not asking for exact numbers, but just if you could directionally give us a sense whether it was mid-teens, it was upwards of 20%, 50%. I mean, the numbers that you saw?
Very difficult to make that statement. As you know, I'm bound by governance. But I can say this to you, that historically this quarter has been a good quarter, and this is Durga Puja, Diwali, and then the New Year which come in. So we've seen a respectable growth as it happens on a regular basis. In this case, it's been a little more. I would rather say that because of the fact that I think that the revenge eating, which has been the most abused term, has been continuing to be there, and we see that there is a robust growth on the dine-in as well as the delivery. The interesting part is that delivery, we thought that will, come down to a level which would not be quantifiable enough. But fortunately, we being a dine-in restaurants, we see a different kind of a growth. So 25 to 27% continues to come in from delivery, where you have less of input cost, and the clouds which have come in. So I think that the whole, business matrix have completely changed both ways, because even if people are like World Cup, there was a huge spurge in the delivery. So fair enough, you can't come to the restaurant, but there's a, compensation which is coming in. So this is a kind of a new model. So I've been, quoted saying that it's a kind of a rebirth or a punarjan. So that is where we are.
Okay, Mr. Chatterjee, that's a very interesting term, revenge eating. I don't know how that bodes well. I mean, I'm sure it bodes well for a lot of the pharmaceutical companies that I track. But Mr. Chatterjee, you've shut your non-profitable businesses. You're bullish about cloud dining or your cloud kitchen, considering that you haven't seen any sort of, come off in terms of the delivery volumes. So based on what you are seeing in terms of trends of 2023, what can you guide us in terms of profitability? You've done, 26 odd crores in the first half in terms of profit. How much do you think you can probably improve it to and sustain it at?
See, again, forward-looking numbers I'm not supposed to talk about, but this
give us a broad guidance.
Yeah. So the guidance would be that it will continue, if not more, and obviously as we go into this season and the next season, we are learning a little more about things. There are new restaurants which are coming up. There's been a tremendous growth in terms of the inputs which have been put in the same store growths. So I think that there's a different, equation by the hour which is changing. Mainland China's have gone through a kind of a new avatar of Mainland China coming in. More of these, because we'd stopped any renovation, any kind of upgradation during the period of pandemic. We held it back. So all these have started coming in now. So we will see the dine-in footfalls coming up, because of the fact that there was a little bit of fatigue in the interiors that we had earlier. So we will see things bettering over a period of time. Plus, as you know, we've been debt-free throughout, which has been my personal principle. And now that we have a bit of a funding now, the embargo is lifted, and our board has already said that 12 to 18 restaurants coming in next 24 months, inshallah, for which everything was planned real estate is almost, signed up. So all this was done pre-pandemic. So you will be seeing a surge in terms of top line, but profitable growth.
So, Mr. Chatterjee, those couple of things that I would like to take forward. You're talking about fundraising. Is the first tranche of the fund that you spoke about fundraising in December, have you received that? And when you talk about expansions, what kind of store addition or, restaurant addition you'll see in calendar year 23 and 24 as well? And what would the collective revenue look like after that?
See, certain things we have planned, which is in the number of restaurants, 12 to 15. And these are the brick and mortar restaurants. Additional would be the cloud kitchens. Now, cloud kitchens have a low input cost. So all this combined, you will see around 24 of these combination coming in, which is primarily in the Asian cuisine. As you know that mainland China Asia kitchen, and then Hakka, we are by and large dominating this area. And we see a surge in even a cloud model called Hakka by the day, by the hour. It's only cloud. So we see a lot of potential to dominate this area, which we have done over a period of time. So this growth will go on. There could be, the malls will have Asia kitchens, more and more malls. For example, in Bombay, we have Borivali, which is an Oberoi mall coming in. We've signed up. That will take another 6-8 months. So depending on the real estate supply, we would be able to complete the number of restaurants which I have spoke to you. And then the idea would be definitely to add to each quarter, as and when the restaurants come in, a top line which will be at least 25 to 30% bare minimum. I always talk about modest things happening, and at the end of the year it will cumulatively become bigger, and it will show a better top line, which is not necessarily my interest. Now it's all about, we're talking about a profitable growth. So that balancing will be seen.
Mr. Chatterjee, just finally, before we let you go, you spoke about expansion. You currently have, other brands as well. So are you looking to expand them too, which is the non-Asian brands? And secondly, when it comes to opening, 13 to 15 restaurants and the remaining cloud kitchens, is it going to be in existing cities where you increase your penetration, or is it going to be in newer cities where you, tap newer markets?
We still have huge potential in a city like Delhi. We're not penetrated well. We're not penetrated well in Hyderabad, not in Chennai, and also Bangalore. We could do 2 more because we shut many of them. There's demand there. Plus, tier 2 cities, which is in the form of Chandigarh, Guwahati, and Indore. So I think that there's huge potential there. And we've been getting a lot of feelers from the real estate research. And there'll be a combination, primarily metro, and then with a combination of these mini metros, tier 2 cities.
Okay, Mr. Chatterjee, we're going to let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and talking to us. Well, we'll touch base and discuss all of your plans on the
people in Guwahati and Chandigarh, the places that he spoke about, will respond to a mainland China or a Chinese
I'm sure they'll
kitchen.
take it with both hands.
Because in Chandigarh, they have a strong Sino-Ludhianvi cuisine, which is their own momos, etc. So in that, geography, how does, Asia Street Kitchen or any of these Pan-Asian names pan out is something that we'll watch out for how it is received.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be received with both hands because we have different cuisines across the whole of India, and we tend to, adapt it to anything or adopt anything that is given to us. But Mr. Chatterjee, we'll touch base and find out about how your expansion plans. And
yeah, you wanted to say, sir?
No, I was saying that we already have a restaurant in Chandigarh, mainland China, rocking over a period of 10 years. We're doing an Asia kitchen in a mall now. So you must be, you should go to Chandigarh and Guwahati and see what's happening now.
So next trip for Manglam is happening to Chandigarh and Guwahati for sure to check that out.
I have no doubt in my mind. But Mr. Chatterjee, before we let you go, which was probably the most popular dish, this festive season, New Year's and that entire week?
All the dim sum. You name the dim sum which we've been, experimenting with. We've got a dim sum chef from Shanghai. So people seem to be looking at, Asian is a very healthy food, as you know, compared to Indian. So we are safe. we are healthy, and we have a long-term survival.
Okay, well, it depends on how much soya sauce you use in the Chinese food. But Mr. Chatterjee, that's a debate for another time. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining in and talking to us. So that's Speciality Restaurants. Need to take a short break, but up next, we'll get back to business. IDBI Bank, Sobha, Macrotech, all of them are reacting to news updates. Stay tuned.